Everyone said they were the perfect couple. Emma was radiant, graceful, the kind of woman who made every room brighter the moment she walked in. James was the dependable one, calm and grounded, with a quiet confidence that made people trust him instantly. Their love story was one that friends talked about with a hint of envy, two souls meant for each other, crossing paths at the perfect time. So when Emma vanished just hours after their wedding, it didn't make sense to anyone. Not her family, not the police, and definitely not James. One moment she was dancing with him under the soft lights of the reception hall, laughing as he twirled her around, her wedding dress catching the light like spun sugar. The next, she was gone. Not just missing, gone without a trace. It was around 11:42 p.m. when James said he noticed she wasn't on the dance floor anymore. The last time he saw her, she'd said she needed some air. The venue had a garden terrace, quiet and beautifully lit, so it made sense she might slip out for a moment. But when he went to check, she wasn't there. No one had seen her leave. None of the security cameras showed her exiting through the front or side gates. Her phone was left behind on the table next to her bouquet. No strange messages. No missed calls. No note. It was like she had stepped into a crack in the world and disappeared. The initial assumption was that maybe she had cold feet, that maybe something had happened behind the scenes. But James was adamant. There were no fights, no arguments. She had been excited, happy, completely present. Emma's parents confirmed it. Her friends agreed. The hours leading up to the wedding had gone off without a hitch. And Emma, the careful planner that she was, had smiled through every detail. She dreamed of this day her whole life. Running off didn't fit. The police got involved immediately. A full search of the venue was conducted. Nearby woods, ditches, roadsides, every inch was combed by officers and volunteers. Bloodhounds tracked her scent to the back hedge of the garden, and then nothing. The trail simply stopped. No sign of struggle, no torn fabric, no clues. Days turned into weeks. Public interest surged and faded like it always did. The headlines moved on. But James didn't. He kept the wedding photos framed, left her side of the closet untouched. Some people said it was unhealthy, that he was living in denial. Others admired his dedication. He wasn't just grieving, he was determined to find her. He kept asking questions, searching through camera footage, GPS data, even weather patterns from that night. He set up a website, collected tips, posted missing posters all over the state. And every year, on their anniversary, he would return to the same venue, sit on that garden bench, and wait, just in case. 3 years passed. Then, on the morning of what would have been their 3rd anniversary, Emma's diary arrived in the mail. No return address. No note. Just a brown envelope, slightly crumpled, and inside, her diary. The one her mother said she hadn't written in since college. But the pages were filled, and not just old entries. New ones. Dated right up until the day she disappeared. James stared at the handwriting, the loops and slants he knew better than his own. His hands trembled as he flipped through the pages. It was her. Undoubtedly. But what he found inside didn't make sense. The entries started innocently, notes about wedding planning, the excitement of finding the right dress, little jokes about James's snoring. But around 2 months before the wedding, the tone shifted. Emma began writing about a man. Not James. Someone she only referred to as him. At first, she wrote like she was afraid she was being paranoid. Little things. Seeing someone watching her from across the street. Footsteps behind her when she walked alone. Flowers left on her car with no note. But then the entries grew darker. He was at the cafe today. Just sitting there. Watching me. When I told James, he said I was imagining things. Maybe I am. But I know that man's eyes. I've seen them before. The next entry was worse. He was in my dreams last night. Same face. Same eyes. Only this time, he was inside our apartment. I could smell his cologne. It's the same one James wears. I woke up crying. James held me, but I didn't tell him why. I don't want to scare him. Or maybe I'm the one who's scared of what it means. Then, closer to the wedding. He knows where the venue is. I didn't tell him. I never said a word to anyone. But he sent me a card. No name. Just a drawing of the garden terrace. In red ink. James felt his stomach twist. He'd never seen her like this. She hadn't told him any of this. None of the police reports had ever mentioned a stalker or threats. And then came the last entry, dated the morning of the wedding. If anything happens to me tonight, it's him. I feel like I'm walking towards something I can't stop. But I can't run. Not today. I love James. I just hope he can forgive me. I'm scared. I don't know how this ends. The rest of the pages were blank. James took the diary to the police. It reignited the investigation. Forensics confirmed the handwriting was Emma's. The envelope had no fingerprints, no DNA, no traceable postmark. It was like it had been dropped directly into his mailbox by a ghost. But something about that last entry stuck with James. I hope he can forgive me. Forgive her for what? He went back through everything. Every photo, every video, every text from those final days. That's when he noticed something he hadn't seen before. In one of the reception videos, at exactly 11:39 p.m., Emma dances with her maid of honor, laughing. She glances toward the garden door, and her smile fades. Just for a second. Then she turns, hands off her bouquet, and walks away. 3 minutes later, she's gone. James paused the video, zoomed in on the garden door. And there, standing just inside the shadows, was a man. Blurry. Face obscured. But his posture, it looked familiar. Too familiar. He sent the footage to the police, but they said it wasn't clear enough to identify. So James did something he never thought he would. He contacted a private investigator. The kind of person who didn't ask too many questions. Weeks passed. Then, one evening, James received a call. We found something, the PI said. You're going to want to sit down. There was a man. Name, David Mallory. Former client of Emma's from a charity organization she had volunteered with years before meeting James. Apparently, he developed an unhealthy obsession. Nothing that ever escalated publicly, just quiet, persistent attention. Emails. Calls. Small gifts. Enough to make Emma uncomfortable, but not enough to press charges. She never told James. Never thought it would matter. After she stopped volunteering, he vanished. No one heard from him again. Until now. The PI traced a rental cabin deep in the woods, 2 states away. The name on the lease was different. But the payment method, untraceable prepaid cards, matched patterns tied to other stalkers. James gave the info to police. A raid was conducted. The cabin was abandoned. But inside, they found women's clothes. Jewelry. A photo of Emma, torn down the middle. And a diary. Not hers. His. Page after page of ramblings. Obsession. Possession. Rage. One line repeated over and over. If I can't have her, no one can. They never found David. But then came the second shock. 2 months later, a woman was found walking barefoot on a rural road near the border. Disoriented. Thin. Covered in dirt. She was taken to a hospital, and when they asked her name, she whispered, Emma. James got the call at 3:17 a.m. He didn't believe it until he saw her. She was older. Thinner. Haunted. But it was her. She didn't remember everything. Said she had been locked away. Drugged. Manipulated. David had taken her that night, lured her to the garden with a note, told her James had lied to her, that she was in danger, that he was the only one who loved her. She tried to escape. Once. And after that, the memories blurred. James held her hand as she recounted it, tears falling from both of their eyes. She looked at him and said, I thought I'd never see you again. He whispered, I never stopped looking. She stayed in the hospital for weeks. Recovered slowly. The media went wild, of course. But James shielded her as best he could. They moved to a quiet place by the coast. Somewhere peaceful. Safe. Emma kept the diary beside her bed. Said it reminded her of who she was. And one night, as she flipped through the pages, she found something she hadn't remembered writing. The very last page. One sentence. He's still out there. And the next morning, the window was open. But neither of them remembered leaving it that way.